Yeah, aye. Lionel and Patrick, what a pair, thinking outside the box. They don't play fair, unconventional ways, breaking all the rules, making their own path, never following the fools. Unconventional playbook, rewriting the game. Lionel and Patrick, they'll never be the same, dancing to their own beat in a world so plain. Unconventional playbook, they're here to entertain. Lionel's a dreamer with stars in his eyes. Patrick's a schemer with tricks in disguise. Together they're unstoppable, a force to be reckoned with. Their unconventional playbook, they'll never be second. Unconventional playbook, rewriting the game. Lionel and Patrick, they'll never be the same, dancing to their own beat in a world so plain. Unconventional playbook, they're here to entertain. Against all odds they stand tall, through highs and lows they never fall. Lionel and Patrick, a duo so rare, with their unconventional playbook, they're always there. Unconventional playbook, rewriting the game. Lionel and Patrick, they'll never be the same, dancing to their own beat in a world so plain. Unconventional playbook, they're here to entertain.
Unconventional playbook, as the song said, rewriting the game. In the house with me is my guy, Patrick Buchanan, after a Minnesota Vikings 2-0 start against the San Francisco 49ers. I see you, Pat. I see you repping the shirt. Man, what are your thoughts? What are you feeling about today's game?
Man, yeah, I'm feeling fantastic, right? We 2-0. Thinking that we got to redo the season, the projections, right? We got to redo the projections because I didn't have it, but after watching the defense and watching some things in game one, right? I had a good feeling about today, right? I wasn't that nervous about it. I had a good feeling, just because I feel like there's some sort of, the water's different in Eagan, Minnesota right now. So the water's different, right? So you don't need water filters in Eagan. It's some good, clean water. Ain't no rust in there, ain't no lead in the water. So the water's good.
Yeah, I'm going to kill this right away, Pat. I'm going to kill it right away because I've already heard a couple of people say it. And anytime the Minnesota Vikings have a big win like this, people always try to take away from them. Like last week, they played a really good game against the Giants. And what did you hear after the game? Oh, well, it's just the
It
Giants.
was
Let's
the
see what they
Giants.
do against San Fran next week. Okay, well, San Fran is here. We took care of business today. Now, everybody's saying, oh, well, San Fran is some frauds. I've already heard that. And I'm like, listen, man, the San Francisco 49ers, this is another Lionel's lock early. The San Francisco 49ers will be a playoff team, and they will make a deep playoff run when it's all said and over with. The Minnesota Vikings beat a really good football team today. Not taking anything away from the Vikings. They came out and executed, man. But I'm telling you, the travel and the logistics of all that stuff is real, especially on Monday night. I said it in the last podcast. When you play on Monday Night Football, and you have to travel the following weekend, man, that is a tough turnaround. I think it affected the San Francisco 49ers today. Not saying that to take away anything from the Minnesota Vikings because they came out and they executed, man. But that travel stuff is really, really weird. The Vikings just came out and took care of business today. What did you think about B-Flow's defense?
That's the number one thing I'm gonna start with, right? Is Beefo defense, right? I think last week it was 5, this week 6 sacks, right? 6 sacks. Let's get a takeaway, again, of course. Like Beeflo, like once again, I'm gonna say his energy on the sidelines it's different. His energy, it says it all, right? It's like he's on this mission when it comes to play calling, coaching up these guys to, like, he's on this mission to prove something out there to the league, like that he is what he is. And man, he's got those guys playing at a high level, right? You're talking about giving up 23 points through 2 games. That's the best. And everyone that's played 2 games, no one else is giving up that least amount of points, right? So the defense right away is doing their job. The run game, right? Taking care, up front in the trenches in clutch time, right? And making sure they come up with the plays, right? We could have had a couple of more takeaways in that game, right? Well, we only had one, but we had opportunities, and those you got to take advantage while we're trying to figure it out, right? Because those opportunities, those teams that's coming up in the future and near future, we gonna get that ball from you. It's gonna be some takeaways, and we going the other way. Uh, I just I just think he has them playing. I think when he makes his subs, he's doing a great job in subbing in and out guys. I think that everyone is on the same like it doesn't look like, and I know that they still are, right? You got 5 new starters out on that defense. Like the guys are still learning the defense that are new, but the guys that are there are, they're integrating with each other. And man, he's doing a hell of a job play calling and getting those guys up ready to play and looking like a defense that, they always talk about defense win championships, defense, having a top tier defense. Right now, they looking real good compared to a lot of defenses that we've seen out there that we expected to be looking good, and maybe they'll hit their strides later. But right now, I remember last year, or our first 4 games, man, our defense, we were learning it, and it wasn't great, you know. But right now it's different, and I just think there's, every week is someone like we was talking about Gink, right?
Yeah.
Gink we was talking about last week. We was talking about Cashman this week, right? We was talking about how Cashman, was looking good. JG and Cashman both got their first sacks, of the game, Uh, uh, Patrick Jones the second, man. he might be the NFL leader, right? With 4 of them right now. Guys are doing a good job. I believe that they're just going to keep getting better and better and better. So,
You know what, Sarah? She brings up a good point. She said she thought the Winers were going to dog walk us today in our house. You and I both picked the 49ers to win this game versus the Minnesota Vikings when we did our scheduled chat. So Sarah's right. We didn't pick them, but I'm glad, this is one time where when we pick something, I'm glad that we were wrong about it. I'm going to tell you this. The Minnesota Vikings, the national media looked at them as not being a very good team. A lot of people weren't talking about the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously they had a big turnover at quarterback. We lost some pieces on defense, but I think KOC and Kwesi have done a really good job in terms of turning the roster back over and building a really competitive roster. Now, I've heard people say, man, this should have been a blowout. And actually, Pat, this could have been a bad blowout for the San Francisco 49ers. But what ails the Minnesota Vikings, what has ailed them the last couple of years anyway, is their inconsistency. It's why they play so many close games. The Minnesota Vikings offense is what it is. And I give you a lot of credit, Pat, because you said before the season even started, the success of the Minnesota Vikings is going to depend on their defense. We got to roll and we got to ride with this defense because the offense is going to sputter for the most part. And that's not saying that our defense is going to play stout for 17 games straight. But for the majority of the season, our defense is going to be what works for us. We're going to have the fumbles. We're going to have the interceptions. We're going to have the turnovers like we did today. But quite honestly, if we didn't have those things, man, that score could have been 30 to 7.
yeah,
If the
yeah.
Vikings capitalized on some of the opportunities that they had. Did you see the game the same way?
Oh, definitely. The 2 turnovers, right? I mean, Darnold's turnover, right, headed down to the scoring right in the red zone, right? That's, he jumped it. If he looks him off, to the left more and then makes that pass to get him take one more step that way, I don't think the interception happens. Aaron Jones was just licking the end zone, so
Yes, he was.
I mean,
Yes,
he
was.
saw nothing but purple, and he was just trying to get there, right? Wagner, not Wagner, but I forgot the linebacker's name, but good job of coming in there, to get a hit, get it out. It happens, but this easily could have been a 33, to 10 game, 33 to 13 type of game, right? We the yardage too as well. Like the last drive, we really let them go down. We were kind of in a prevent. We were only rushing
Yep.
3, so giving up. We didn't give up much yardage during that time. But you know what, Coach? Yeah, we could have, and we had some mishaps. But what I think about is in the fourth quarter is that drive that Darnold took us down there to get the field goal. That without JJ, without all the weapons that we have, like to convert 3 third downs, right? Today, Coach, we were 7 of 12 on third downs. So this is B Flow defense, 2 of 10 for them. That's B Flow's defense, but we
Yep.
were 7 of 12. I talked about it over and over and with Darnold using his legs and Darnold being able to move the chain. I think he moved the chains 3 times today with his legs, if I'm not mistaken. I thought there were other opportunities where he could have avoided a sack and used his legs to get another one. But Darnold was fantastic without Justin Jefferson, without Addison, like playing with the next tier guys. And I think KOC said it best. Keenan McCardell, to have those guys, the depth. See what I'm talking about, Coach? Depth. Depth on this team is real. The depth on the Minnesota Vikings team is real. Well, it may not be the names, but they're coached up to be successful, right? So I thought that was one of the most telling drives of the game of maybe who Sam is going to be and maybe what we're going to be as a team on that fourth quarter drive.
Yeah, all you want, from your depth guys. They don't have to be these big, sexy names. They just have to be next man up type guys where you lose a Justin Jefferson for a period of time. Powell can step in there and give you some quality reps at the wide receiver spot, caught some big balls on third down. I mean, that's what you need when you talk about depth, and the Minnesota Vikings showed that during the preseason. One thing I want to touch on, Nicole makes a great point in the chat. Watching the game, the one thing that bothered me, even though I was enjoying whooping the 49ers ass, the one thing that bothered me during the game is the sea of red that I saw out there. I mean, man, there was a bunch of San Francisco 49er fans in our house. And I heard a couple people speak on this, that you got season ticket holders that are basically buying up tickets and then selling them to the opponents that are coming into town trying to make some money. I get that. I don't know how you regulate that, to be honest. It's just kind of disappointing to see, especially with your home opener, man, to see so much red out there. Especially when you're talking about Skol Nation out there doing the Skol chant and everything, first home game. I was a little disappointed to see that. But, it is what it is. We got the win. Sarah brings up another good point about having that mobile quarterback.
Mobile
I got
quarterback.
really enthralled. Oh yeah, I got really enthralled with that last year when we had Josh Dobbs. I mean, it just felt good. A quarterback that can get out of the pocket and make something happen. Sam Darnold did that several times today, and I remember before the season even started, I said people are going to underestimate how mobile Sam Darnold is. He showed it in college. He showed it when he was with the Jets and the Carolina Panthers. I mean, this guy, he's got some speed to him and he's got some elusiveness to him and to be able to make plays. And you saw that on display today.
Oh yeah, you get to those unscripted plays, right? Just off script plays, unscript, whatever. Like he can extend a play with his legs, Coach. Right? He can extend. And I promise y'all, until week 10, I'm gonna try to stop. Our next podcast after Monday Night Football, I might have to mention something, but I just got to say it one more time, and I'm sorry. The Kirk Cousins sitting in the pocket, taking the sacks, not being able to maneuver, to get receivers going with you, right? Things break down, but when you got those legs that can move the chains or you can move in the pocket a little bit more, it's better. And right now I'm enjoying what Sam is doing, but I'm also like, Coach, I want you to now look at something. I talked about this, how I felt the season would go. Like I talked about the defense though, but
Yep.
I'm gonna share something with you again that I talked about the offense. Remember, in week 1, it was 26 run, 24 pass.
Yep.
Week 2, it's 26 pass, 24 run.
Yep.
KOC has never been balanced like this in it like the third year he finally had some. Like I told everyone, it is not going to be one of them 70-30 type of deals. It's just not going to. You do not bring an Aaron Jones in to do that. You don't have a top 10 offensive line to play that way. That's something I want to give credit to him of sticking with what I thought, not that I was in his, it just made sense, right? That we could be more of a balance and to give Sam Darnold time to learn his playbook. But Sam Darnold was fantastic, though, again today, man. I mean, he's fantastic. The one pick, I'm not even worried about it, man. 268. That 97-yard touchdown pass in stride. JJ didn't have to stop. He didn't have to wait. Sam Darnold has an arm.
Yeah, he just flicks it out there, man, and it goes 60 yards. When he threw that pass, I told my wife, he just threw that thing from the 1-yard line all the way down to the other team's 45-yard line on a rope.
Yeah.
And he just flicked it out there. Really didn't even have to get his body into it. He just kind of flicked. I mean, all his physical attributes, no one has ever said anything bad about his physical capabilities. They were always talking about his inconsistencies. He gets flustered under pressure. And he seems to be, the quarterback whisperer, KOC, seems to be doing a really good job in terms of tutelage of Sam Darnold, man. And I'm gonna tell you, I've been really educated on the position of quarterback because it's so important. And I feel bad. The San Francisco 49ers are going to be in the same dilemma that the Minnesota Vikings were in with Kirk Cousins. They're going to have to figure out, do they pay Brock Purdy $55 million to $60 million? And again, when you pay a quarterback that amount of money, this better be a quarterback that can get you over the hump because it's going to affect your team in so many different ways. And it's been proven you can win with a really good stopgap quarterback that you can, get ingrained in your system, teach him, give him some good tutelage. I mean, Sam Darnold has looked the best that he's looked in these last 2 games. A lot of that comes from KOC and probably some of his time spent in San Francisco with next level Shanny, but he's playing some really good football right now, and we're not paying him a buttload of money to be here. $10 million contract, which is perfect for 1 year, and then we can make our decision after that.
Oh, we definitely can, Coach. And I don't want to jump the gun. I'm taking one game at a time when it comes to him. But I'm gonna tell you something though. If Sammy D keep doing this, Coach, I'm just being honest. Like the experience versus someone who, is our future and ain't. I don't want to say it out there. I don't want us to be thinking about it because let's not jump the gun. The only thing I'm gonna say is jump the gun on is this defense. Jump the gun on it. It's real. And Sam, I don't want to, but Coach, man, there's always these magical things. These things are, the man above has control of it all, right? And it's not out of ours. And Sam has done nothing in this world that we know of for him not to deserve this opportunity. He's taken advantage of it. And I want everything that he can give us and himself to receive at the same time. But his demeanor, Coach, like are you used to the demeanor yet, Coach? Are you used to it yet?
Oh man, this is even though we're 2 games into the season, this is something special. This is something special. The demeanor you bring up is absolutely extraordinary for the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, this is something that again I expected them to be 1-1, and for them to be not only 2-0, but this game could have went the other way in terms of a blowout. That's what I keep going to. They made a couple of mistakes, the Minnesota Vikings did, in terms of turning the ball over, man. But we could have beat a really good team into the ground if we take care of the ball in certain instances of that ball game. And to me, even though we won, by 6 points, it felt like a 14 to 20 point game. And that's the feeling that I leave this football game with. And I'm just really proud of the Minnesota Vikings for being able to do that.
Oh, definitely. I'm so proud of everything that they're doing right now. I'm gonna be honest with you, Coach. I'm not in a shock though, right? And part of the reason I'm not in the shock is, and I want to, me touching this is part of the comment that Scott made, Coach, right, about how the media and they was picking us last.
Oh yeah,
And Scott, if you listen to something, a word that I used all off season, and this is culture, and that word is culture. And inside, from the Wilfs to Quasi to KOC on down, B flowing on down, right? Daniels, right? I mean, special teams, fantastic job today, right? Coach Daniels coaching those guys up. Like there's a culture in the building. They said already that y'all don't know what we got in here, and that's fine. What those naysayers are saying and putting us down there. Like I always said, we're 2 years removed from division champs. Last year, with all the injuries, we went 7-10. I felt like this team could be good. They filled the gaps. Quasi kicked ass in free agency and in the draft. And you know, the thing that they keep talking about, even after this game, they said they were the more physical team and more fit team, right? KOC talks about a different way that he was going about it. Like he in his third year. Their different
right.
approach of toughness, right?
Yep.
That they're building inside of that stadium over there at TCO, man. They're doing things differently, and we're not worried about what everyone is saying on it in their plan. Like they maybe, I don't know if they're playing. I want to say playing like they have a chip. Like they mad because they picked them last in the division. Maybe, I don't know. But I know the one thing that they're doing is they're playing for each other, right? And they're playing like they're a team that can get through some adversity. They've had adversity in 2 games. But once again, I said it last week on ours. They had the biggest adversity out of probably anybody in the entire NFL, what they had to deal with this offseason, right? So one of their brothers losing their lives. So that's nothing against anyone else. But let the media keep saying what they're saying. This is something, as a Minnesota Vikings fan, Coach, you can say this because you know this. We could start the season off 5-1. And until we get to 8-1 or 8-2 or something like that, right? The media is not going to jump on us. They always jump on Minnesota late. That's just how the media works when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings. If we started off 4-0 or 5-0, they're not going to jump on us. They just don't do that ever.
Yeah, but even when they jump on us, there's always a yeah, but we got to,
Yeah.
if the Vikings start off 8-1, it's going to be a yeah, but let's see if they can sustain this. Yeah, but yeah, but yeah, but the whole thing about the media. Remember, the media. I believe it was Sports Illustrated. I can't remember what magazine it was or what business it was. I believe it was Sports Illustrated that had us starting the season off 0-8 to start the season. And we've rattled off 2 games in a row. So, and here's what I bet. Scott talked about the talking heads, and I'm going to get more specific about it. You watch on First Take tomorrow. They will cover this game. They will cover this game, but it will be all about what's wrong with the 49ers rather than what's right with the Minnesota Vikings. And I think Nicole makes a great point that we've got to win while B Flow is here. Personally, I don't think B Flow's going anywhere for a while. With the situation with the NFL, the lawsuit, and then the Tua Tagovailoa stuff coming out. I think I'm not saying he's never going to leave, because I think the young man is too talented to just be a defensive coordinator, but I think he's going to be with the Minnesota Vikings for a long time, enough time for us to make a championship run, possibly get J.J. McCarthy back. Hey, if Sam Darnold is the quarterback, hey, I'll roll with Sam Darnold. He's looking pretty good right now. But yeah, I'm not worried about the national pundits. I'm not worried about the national media. I ain't worried about none of the people. I'm enjoying this 2-0 win from the Minnesota Vikings, and let's go get the Texans next week.
100%, right? forget the media, forget it. Like, I don't even, first take, why do I want to listen to that screaming fool anyways, right? That's all he yelling and his opinions and whatever, not always whatever. But, I heard something today that someone tried to say, they're a different team with Christian McCaffrey or whatever, right? Right? So right
Here we
there,
go. Here we go again.
yes. So it got cut off like this, and they was like, well, damn, Mason ran for like 140 something 50 yards last week, and they look good with him. So you can't go there and use that. You cannot use that. Like in that case, then let's use the fact that there was no Addison, there was no TJ Hawkinson, there was no Justin Jefferson down the stretch. Like we could do the same thing, but we came out with a W. Like, stop. Like, stop. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. You got to play what's on the field, right? Oh, they prime example. We was talking about it early. The Packers were without Jordan Love. They won that
Yep.
game.
They won that game.
They won the
They
game
found
without
a way to
Jordan
win.
Love. Like, we can't. People got to stop doing that. They ain't got this. They ain't got that. There's that. Nah, that means nothing, man. And once again, like, and I'm gonna touch it with B-Flow again. Yeah, I hope we have him forever. But once again, the emotions that he's showing, maybe Tua should have never came out that motivated. You saw his guys, Harrison and Martellus with him at the, press conference that day. He's just a different coach. He's like I care about my guys, and he said he needs to mature, but what I'm seeing is him care for those guys, and those guys care for him, and him just show the excitement with them when they're doing what they're doing out there. I mean, my man is shutting down fourth downs out there.
Yep.
Like, nah, you ain't going on fourth down. You acting like Campbell out here going on fourth downs on us. Yeah, you converted to one or two, Shanahan, but it didn't produce numbers for you on the scoreboard.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say this. Let's talk about some of his tools, some of his toys that he gets to play with as defense coordinator. A young man that we've talked about several times on this show. This young man has a great first name and a great last name, Mr. Patrick Jones the second. This guy is built for this NASCAR set that B-Flow runs, where he's got all edge rushers in the game, and there's nothing but quickness out there on the field. And that front seven, both teams, the Giants and the San Francisco 49ers, they've had troubles with that up front. When they're twisting and stunting, coming off the edge. Mr. Patrick Jones is starting off having the best season of his career right now. I understand it's only 2 games, but his 2 games have been really impactful. I believe, what did he have? 2 sacks today?
2 sacks.
And he had
again.
a bunch of hurries and a bunch of pressures. Man, talk about this guy, Patrick Jones.
Yeah, man, Patrick Jones is like, and JG's getting used to everything, but Patrick Jones right now is, I'm not missing Danielle Hunter, right? I'm not missing him because of everyone that's up there, but Patrick Jones right now is showing like how he can be effective within this scheme and this defense. Him off that right side, coming off the right side is nutty though. It is nutty, him coming off the right side, right? He is fast. He is strong. He's long, right? He has the length and the strength and the speed to get by people over there, plus being able to have a great effect in the run game as well. I think Patrick is playing out his mind, and all you're doing is right now, and he was in the farm, so, it's one of them guys that is success for us. So he right now is building up more and more confidence. And he's just going to get better and better and better. And what people are going to start doing is keying him. Now, when you key him, that means you left someone else open, right? When you start sending a chip his way, a double, now you're going to let loose Ginkgo, JG, DT, Cashman, who got in there. Maybe Pace gets through there. Maybe Harrison gets through there. Maybe some of the big guys. I mean, we can go on and on and on, Coach, right? I mean, he has so many weapons. He has toys, right? He's like a little kid waking up with presents under the tree, right? He's got a lot of toys. So I think Patrick's starting off fantastic, and I just love the way Patrick Jones is starting off. I love the way all of them are. But once again, Yeah, teams better stop throwing screens at Van Ginkel. Van Ginkel almost got another one, coach. He
He
got that
almost got
hand on
another
it.
one.
He almost got another one.
He almost got another one.
Yeah, he almost got another one. But I was about to say, earlier we talked about, I think it was a question from the UP asking who, Dallas Turner or Danielle Hunter, would have more sacks. And I said Danielle Hunter. And the reason I said, do you remember the reason I said Danielle Hunter, coach?
Why is that?
It was because Minnesota Vikings would have so many players with so many sacks on the team that we wouldn't just have one that led, right? That was the
Oh
top.
yeah.
We just
We're
gonna
gonna
have
have a diverse
right. It
portfolio.
was gonna be a diverse group of guys just getting the sacks. So that's my take on that. So yeah, man. Once again, it was a fantastic game. I know I just talked about one of the pieces, B flow. I mean, another piece though we could talk about is Cashman, coach. The Minnesota Gopher, the Eden Prairie home kid, right? Like Cashman, Cashman getting in there, he's sticking his nose. Him and Pace love to get their nose in the plays, coach. Like they'll stick their nose in, and we knew we could not let Mason run for 150 yards today. I think we held Mason what to I think it was under 100 yards today. I'm not for sure, right? The exact number, but we couldn't let Mason get busy on us, right? It was exactly at 100 yards. He didn't go for 150 something on us, and I think that was key to those linebackers.
Yeah, I think the one thing you're seeing, looking at the chats, Nicole makes a great point. I mean, we got this three-headed monster right now, B-Flow, KOC, and Quasi. We got to get those guys locked up and extended here because, even with the tools that we brought in, it's a combination of them collaborating together to get this team. You talk about Cashman. I mean, when was the last time we had a middle linebacker that was that productive and that versatile? I mean, Cashman is someone that's really heady. He's tough. He's the type of guy that if we can continue to keep him healthy throughout the year, he's going to be big. I mean, it means a lot because he's wearing the green dot this year, and for him to come in new system, playing with the new team, and to be able to get that green dot says a lot about him on and off the field. That he's an extension of that coaching staff from the sidelines on the football field and he has just done a tremendous job. I mean, Cashman is absolutely lights out. I'm going to flip it over, Pat, to the offensive side of the ball. Last week we gave a lot of love to Aaron Jones, but this week I'm gonna give a lot of
Ty
love to
Chandler.
Ty Chandler, man.
Ty Chandler.
There's a difference between establishing the run and running the ball where you want to and getting the ball where you want the ball to go. And looking at the Minnesota Vikings running game today, they didn't overrun, but when they decided to run, it was over. The San Francisco 49ers could do nothing with the running game. And what it did, what a lot of people don't understand about a running game, what you do is you don't put Sam Darnold in situations where it's third and long all the time. Now you got third and short. You can go with the play action pass. That's what that West Coast philosophy is all about. And so when you have that combination of an accurate short to intermediate passing game and a good running game, there's no telling where your offense can go.
No, it's no telling where it's go. And to even look to see that a guy like and they said that they would be doing a lot of splitting stuff. But I think this week it was, 10 and 9 rushes. Jones got some pretty good rushes in there, but man, Chandler was really effective on the ground. Like KOC said, we averaged 6.1 on the ground, right? 6.1. That's a big, that's back to back weeks where we're averaging 6 points, 6 yards per rush, six plus, per rush.
Right.
That's a fantastic job. Like what's new on the offensive line is consistency, right? Is the guys are more consistent up there, like they're beefed up. I think they stressed it this offseason to making sure the
Yeah.
run game was there. Gaining the Aaron Jones helped and Ty Chandler. Ty Chandler showed us spurts, right, for the last 2 years. Like we already knew there was something there with Ty Chandler, right? But having this two-headed monster back there, being able to do what they can do, Ty Chandler is just phenomenal. That's called a professional, and that's called the culture of really being aware it is. Um, I think this was what happened last year, and this is my opinion. I think he felt like he was better than Madison, and maybe Madison got a little bit too much more love than he did. You know,
Right
when
away, too. I mean, they gave Madison the love right away.
right away, and maybe that affected him where he knows he's better, and Aaron Jones is proven. So probably their conversations in the locker room and in practices are a little different than what him and Madison, where Madison probably was looking down to him, where he was like, "Dude, you ain't. I'm better than you." So. But hats off to Ty Chandler being a professional and all, just being ready and KOC for being able to how to use them both, right? Like
Yeah.
the timing of when to use them both is the way it's working is fantastic right now.
Yeah, we were definitely 28th in the league last year in terms of the run. Um, we were at the bottom of the league, and to see this running game where it's morphed into this year makes me really, really excited because it's only going to help Sam Darnold. But Pat, do you remember last podcast? What did I say about the screen game and Aaron Jones? I said I really didn't see any screens in the Giants game, and I thought that that was purposeful because all KOC talked about during the offseason is that we're going to enhance the screen game. We've got one of the best screen game running backs in the league in Aaron Jones, and we saw multiple screens today. I figured that they were going to break that out against the San Francisco 49ers today.
Oh yeah, you definitely had to. Where you look at Aaron Jones, right? He didn't catch many last. He had 5 catches for 36 yards today,
Yep.
right? That's a 7.2 average, right? So yeah, it was going to come out in certain ways. You knew it. You talked about it. It was obviously it wasn't needed last week. I think it's going to intensify more. I think even more of the wide receivers. Like I would get Speedy massively in that screen game as well, right? To get Speedy on some type of exotic screen, getting some blockers out front and letting him just explode. But yeah, the screen game is going to get even more, coach, right? Because I think Ty Chandler is elusive enough to do the things just as well. So it's he listen, the 97-yard play, he said that was something I had in the bank from last year that we ran. So I'm just by him saying that, coach, he got there sitting there waiting for every team. Basically, he's got something that he's done built all season for every single team. All these
Yep.
defense coordinators that he went up against, or whatever, like or teams, like he's just got stuff sitting in the vault, and he's waiting to bring it out. But the one thing that I love about it is that he can take his time doing it and he can get little different things on film and things that you can't see. He's taking his time with it, and I can appreciate that by KLC. Through 2 games, coach, and this is not a crack. This is called learning. My first 2 years as a head coach, I had so much to learn. You know what I mean? I had so much to learn, whether it was running my sets, whether it was simplifying my motion offense, like whatever it was, like my out of bounds plays, like I had to grow and learn so many things of what I wanted to run with my system. KOC has called 2 freaking good games, right? And
Yep.
he is getting better as a play caller. He looks like a veteran play caller now. He just looks like a veteran
One
play
thing
caller.
Yeah, well, I think the one thing you got to have as a coach is you got to have your personnel right. And a lot of people forget, man, even though this is year 3 for KOC, I mean, this team is still turning over to the team that he wants it to be in terms of personnel and the team that B-Flow wants it to be on the defensive side of the ball. So it's going to take a little bit. And I think that's really enhancing his play calling as well. Like now he's got I mean, look at the difference between the mobility of Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold. Now he's got somebody that when a play breaks down, he's got somebody that can get out of the pocket and make some plays happen. Where, Kirk Cousins was more of that pocket quarterback, really couldn't move. He really can't move now with a bad Achilles. But, now you're seeing the development of KOC and what he's doing with this offense, what he's doing with this football team come to fruition. And as long as everybody can stay healthy, I think we're going to be fine. Nicole mentioned Aaron Jones. She hopes that he's not too injured. I saw him tweak something. I don't think it's anything that's too bad that's going to keep him out for a while. Obviously, Jets had that thigh bruise. He got kneed that one time, so I think he's going to be okay in terms of those two. But you never can tell until that injury report comes out. Talk to me. You mentioned Speedy Naylor, man. And people don't understand how fast this guy is. On the bomb to Justin Jefferson, he was running a long post to the left side of the field. Justin Jefferson was flying on the right side of the field. Justin Jefferson caught it, went left, had to retrace his steps, go back right, and Speedy Naylor comes out of nowhere and picks up that last block for Jets to get into the touchdown. I mean, he came out of nowhere. If you go back and you've got film of that or you watch the highlights, look at where Naylor was when Justin Jefferson caught the ball and where Naylor ended up at the end of that play. He's got the right nickname. Speedy Naylor is right because that dude has some jets, man.
Yeah, I mean, he has the Jets, and that was a fantastic play. Like, I listened to KLC, and he said he could have went either way with it. He said, I thought he was going to go Naylor, right? But he went
Yeah,
Jets with it because he set it up for them both to go either way with it. Like, Speedy, man. But not even the fact of his speed, coach. Let's touch something else within that. Like, that's an unselfish play. Like, that's
yes,
a winning play to
yep,
come up to make the block. Because, like, he could have been like, oh, well, JJ just going to go down. But he gave JJ, like, JJ going to switch directions. But he was like, okay, this man is putting in this work. Let me be there for my brother,
right,
right? I think it's just he has to get credit for that touchdown because Justin doesn't get in that touchdown without that block, right?
yep,
So he has to, and he celebrated with him, and I think that's something that everyone has pointed out about Naylor's block downfield, which I think was just like marvelous and fantastic. Like Speedy, I mean, the man was down there, coach, right, helping him out. Get down there when it came to the block. You know, Coach, there's so many things, and Scott mentioned this in the chat, and he was like, just think we're doing this without TJ Hawkinson and Addison.
it's scary,
All I'm
man.
saying is it is super scary after the bye week. And it's going to take TJ a couple of weeks to get going, but his presence is not going to allow you to keep doing what you're doing to Justin Jefferson. Like Justin Jefferson, I love what he's doing, how he's firing up his team. He's being a great leader, and he understands that he's in matchups where he ain't even got his dogs out there, right? He out there with some other dogs, but they ain't the top dogs. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, yep,
So he out there fighting tooth and nail, but even back to Naylor, right? We done said Naylor's name so much preseason. I'm so happy the man got a touchdown today, right? I
yep.
mean, he got his touchdown too, right? We get a turn. Let's go get that touchdown. Naylor, right? They was like, well, everyone should have known in the entire stadium. Like, if you were Kyle Shanahan, knowing there was no Justin Jefferson now on this field, who the ball was going to, but you guys
Right.
didn't. You guys weren't paying attention like we were.
Yeah. Let's talk about, man, a guy that is kind of flying under the radar. He's been solid, been consistent, and looked really good. How about my guy, Mr. Will Reichert, the field goal? You know, the Vikings were criticized for drafting this kid. Man, this kid looks solid. He's a solid kicker. He hasn't been in any, really pressure situations yet when it counts, because the Vikings have been putting the ball in the end zone a lot. But he looks like the type of guy to me that, he led the NCAA in scoring, I believe, in college football. I mean, this kid can boot the ball. It seems to be pretty accurate, seems to be really, really strong headed, mentally tough. I like what I'm seeing out of him so far, even though it hasn't been much. His kicks have been right down the middle and pretty solid.
Oh, he hasn't missed anything. I mean, he was what we knew he was coming out kicking the football. So, he's Will is. I mean, he hasn't missed, right?
Yeah,
He's confident. he doesn't like when you look at Will, and I just now whatever. He just doesn't look like a field goal kicker, right? You know,
No.
you look at him, he's just like, dude, he goes out there and gets the job done. Will Reichert was a fantastic. When they drafted him, I knew it was Will, so I wasn't upset because I knew what Will did at college and what he did
Yeah.
at Alabama. When you're the all-time leading scorer and when you lead the nation in scoring, how can you complain about that when that has been a like stranglehold on us for so many decades, right? When it comes to a kicker, and I think you got something there in a great kicker because you have a fantastic special teams coach as well. So you know, for me, talk like when we're going to talk about Will, let's talk about Daniels and the job he's done with this special teams, right?
Yep.
Where that's you know a fantastic block punt, but we haven't given up. The punter is putting the ball down there. We should have had the ball down on the 1 yard line, coach. Like you know, the ball was down on the 1 yard line. I don't know what was going on there, like, you know, brain fart or whatever, but it happens. So, there, every phase, all three phases are doing fantastic. Like, all three phases of the game is doing fantastic. Will keep kicking field goals, keep doing what you do. As long as we know
Drill, Nicole calls him. Will the drill.
Wheel the drill, right? Wheel the drill it straight down the middle, right? Wheel the drill. I take that all day long. Yeah, there's nothing. I don't even. There's you, coach, for years. You remember, it's always been a field goal where you just had that pit in your stomach, like you had that feeling. There's not been one time that I felt that way when it comes to him, whether it's an extra point or any field goals. I know it's good. I know it's good. And he's human. He'll miss one, but I'm not worried about him missing when the clutch comes up, right? And let's be honest, the last field goal he made was a clutch field goal because it put it, you know, now it changed the scoring. If he doesn't make that field goal, this is a one-score game with them coming down. It could change up a lot of different things. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the one thing that I like today that I saw, and again, we're going to go back to the defense just for a little bit, is, you look at Brock Purdy, he threw for over 300 yards today. And so everybody's going to say, well, the pass defense is, it was a little soft or whatever. And I think, in basketball, that's my profession. I coach the game of basketball. And so there's like this misnomer, or there's like this myth that to be a good defensive coach, you've got to press the ball all the time. You're not a good defensive coach unless you're pressing the ball, you're really active. That's what people like to see. And in the game of football, if you're not blitzing all the time, then you're not really playing really good defense. I like the adjustment that B-Flow did today. Early on, you didn't see a lot of blitzing. And what B-Flow wanted to do is he wanted to take away the big play. So he was dropping back into a lot of drop cover zones.
yeah.
And I was like, he must be really concerned that if he starts blitzing guys, sending 6 or 7 guys, that he's going to leave some of his cornerbacks on islands, and he didn't necessarily want to do that early in the game. As soon as Minnesota got that lead, you start seeing multiple fronts. You start seeing 7 guys on the line of scrimmage, and San Francisco's offensive line really had a hard time picking those things up because they didn't have any idea of who was coming on the blitz, what angle they were coming from. It was a great chess game by B-Flow today on the defensive side of the ball when it just came to dropping back in coverage and playing zone and blitzing. Did you see the same thing that I saw today?
Oh, it was a tale of two different strategies. One, I felt like it was a set you up, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna set you up for this type of, like, we always talk about how offense coordinators do it. Well, defense coordinator gives you two, right? I'm a rock you, get you thinking that it's just gonna be like this, and then I'm gonna turn it up, give you some of the same looks, but then I'm gonna bring some pressure your way. You can look at Brock Purdy. I want to just touch this because you brought it up. They played prevent in the last drive down. So he gets 70 passing yards there. So really he was only, like, before that drive, he was only in the like 230s. I'm just be honest. So he didn't really pass for the 3. He did statistically but we were in a prevent. We weren't in our regular defense. He was not. He wanted that clock to move. So,
Right.
yeah, I know how it looks, but realistically, like whatever. But yeah, B Flow is smart. We've always known B Flow is smart. Like I told you before, there's people that have doubted him, and people I've heard people say different things to me about him, and I say the same thing that I've always said since I met that man and shook that man's hands last summer. uh, I knew that he was special. I could tell within people that he was special. He was even keel. He was humble. He wasn't cocky. Like he was a normal Joe, but just smart as hell when it came to defense, right?
Yeah.
Normal Joe, but just a genius when it came to defense. And he's done it everywhere he's gone. And I just love the passion that he's having out there, right? And that's just, you know, something, rejuvenated. Like he went through a lot of stuff, right, over there with Miami, and I felt his pain. Um, I believe Miami did set him up for a lot of failure over there, because they were trying to tank or whatever, and whatever was going on over there. But, he got a bad rap. Of course, one of the greatest, the longest tenured head coach at any place took care of him, Mike Tomlin. Um, that was a good place for him to go. And then he's my man is spreading his wings here, coach, right? He's spreading his wings and he's just showing the whole world, the whole NFL. Yeah, that's fine. Y'all ain't got to, but I'll sit over here all day long and y'all got to deal with me over here. So you got to deal with two head coaches at once, right? And it's kind of like the Chiefs, right? Chiefs got two head coaches over there, right? They got Andy Reid and Spagnolia. That's two head coaches right there, right? Like, and Minnesota's kind of got the same build right now going on. So, hey man, B-Flow is super smart. I can't wait. Like, okay, we got past this one. I cannot wait to next week. I chose this game next week now, coach. I
Yeah.
took Minnesota to beat Houston. I took them to beat the entire AFC South. So, like, but I'm curious of what he's going to do when he got Mixon and you got, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, Schultz at tight ends, and the second year offensive rookie of the year. And Dexter, yes, JJ's all right. It's just a two thigh.
Hold on. Listen, man. Listen, I'm going to address Dexter because Dexter said he's a Niner fan. Coming on the UP as a Niner. Hey, we got love for everybody. We got love for different fans around here. But yeah, Dex, we'll see. We'll see the 49ers in the playoffs. We ain't scared. We ain't scared. Y'all just better be lucky. The Niners better be lucky. They better hope they don't have to come back to Minneapolis because they haven't won in Minneapolis since 1992, if I'm not mistaken. So they better hope that if we see them in the playoffs, that is at home because they can't win here, Dex. No, it's all
Yeah,
love, Dex.
yeah.
It's all we
Go
love.
back to
Hey,
watching the
UP
Texans.
fans come. What's that, Pat?
I was telling Dex to go back to watching the Texans because I'm trying to glance up while we're watching right now. Like I keep glancing up, because this is next week, right? This is next week when we playing. So I'm taking these little glances up just above my head, like saying, what's going on, like in that Texas game, because I'm kind of scouting. I'm getting my scouting report in, coach.
No, man, it's definitely all love. Definitely all love. Um, you know, I've heard some comments about Ed Ingram. That interior of our offensive line is not playing well. I don't think they're playing awful. There's a couple of possessions I'm sure that they would like to have back. Some rushes that the defensive line got, some penetration deep to be able to stop the run. But I think overall, man, I think once we get Reisner back, again, adding that depth, I'm gonna use a word you use, Pat, is that depth. I think that offensive line is going to be better for it. I thought that they got off the ball quick today. They made holes for Ty Chandler in terms of really enhancing that running game. So I think the offensive line is going to be okay. I don't have a whole lot of worries there. They'll have a big test next week with the Texans as well, because you got A team that likes to blitz a lot, like the Minnesota Vikings. You know, they come from all angles, really, really well taught defense. So I think our offensive line is up for a tough task next week.
Yeah, we are in Dexter. I'm with you, right? Thanks for pre-scouting, and yes, we will get them next week. So I appreciate that, but I'm not gonna get too high on it just because D'Amico Ryan's a fantastic coach. He's a fantastic defensive mind. That's like that's going to be a chess match. KOC and D'Amico Ryan, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be a hell of a chess match, but it's going to be a chess match the other way too, right? And it's two good defenses are going to go at each other to next week, and it should be fantastic. But going back to this offensive line, coach, I like there were moments like I'm gonna just be honest. And Ingram, I'm hoping just he gets better and better, but he has mind farts at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Like
Great
he
word
has it
for it.
at the wrong time.
That's a
Like
great word for it.
I get it if you just have one, but you can't have them in critical situations or at the wrong time. Don't get me wrong; they were fantastic in that last drive when it counted, but there were some moments earlier where I felt like he could have been more consistent. He could have been better on there. Like I'm just seeing him get whooped off the line. Some like just like come on, man. There's no resistance. So, but at the same point, Sam hasn't been, Sam, I think two of Sam's sacks was on Sam Darnold, right? I'm just, that was on Sam. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to fault the offensive line for that, but the breakdown, like the pocket, is what I'm more or less complaining about.
Yep.
Like it's the pocket. So I mean, it's only week 2. But I just want a better pocket for the man to be in and just for him to be better up front.
Yeah, it's only week 2, but it's a good 2 weeks for the Minnesota Vikings. Again, with all the trials and tribulations they've gone through in terms of the offseason, trying to piece this thing together. Nobody picked them. A lot of publications had them starting 0-8 and things of that sort. People picking them last in the division, saying the Chicago Bears have, taken over the 3rd spot, and you got the Packers and you got the Detroit Lions. Hey, it may work out that way, but right now I'm going to enjoy this. And the Minnesota Vikings they're looking well coached on both sides of the ball, all 3 phases, as KOC likes to say. They got a block punt today and special teams. So when you look at the Vikings, all 3 phases are coming together. Great collaboration between the coaches. I think they made a superb decision in not bringing back Kirk Cousins for that amount of money. They got rid of those big contracts. They got all the void stuff coming to pay this year. They won't have that next year. The pieces that they are going to be able to add to this team, no matter how it turns out this year, what you're seeing is the foundation of a really, really good team with a quarterback that is going to be on a rookie contract if it's J.J. McCarthy. If they bring back Sam Darnold, obviously it won't be a rookie contract, but it'll be a contract that's not in the $50 and $60 million range where the Vikings can really, really fill out this team. And I'm just excited about where this team is going. You can see it. You can feel it after the first 2 games, Pat.
Oh, you definitely can. I feel something. I feel something special. People love Cinderella stories. I just feel that and this is not an exaggeration. I felt it all summer. There's something different. Like there's something different going on. And I'm enjoying every week by week. I don't know what that is. When it comes to January or February, we'll look and see what was so special. But people love a Cinderella story, and people love teams that do things the right way and stay the hell out the media.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's been a good 2 weeks, man. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy this before I start looking forward to next week. Again, unconventional playbook throughout the week. Patrick and I are going to do, some shows where we're going to preview that game. We're going to have some more Patrick picks. Patrick, how did you do in your picks this weekend, man? How did you do in your picks?
Lionel's lock has been the thing, right?
Lionel's locks.
I will tell you this. I would have had to take in every team, every underdog team in the NFL only one favor team, I think, won and covered the spread, and that was my Washington Commanders pick. But no one else, I think, covered anything on my picks. Right now, they're covered. They're a 6-point lead for the Texans, so we'll see how that covers. I might go 2 out of 5, but it was really bad. And I'll say this out loud: UP, if you follow my bets, I lost 2. So I lost 2. The NFL was rough. This Sunday was rough. It was rough for a lot of people.
It was a weird week. It was a weird week.
It was a weird week, and the Saints go into Dallas and dominate them.
That's crazy.
Anthony Richardson looks like what Malik Willis was supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Like that's just I'm just it's sports, man. That's why we love it, man, because we can't predict it. So
yes.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Scott, for the love, man. We love you too. We love all of you peers out there. Again, we appreciate all the support. Thanks for jumping on tonight and being involved in the chat. Yeah, man. I have the luxury of only picking one pick. You've got the hard job where you've got to pick 5 picks each week. I'm good at picking one game. I can pick one game and find that Lionel's lock. Obviously, Notre Dame did what I thought they would do to Purdue. I just didn't see Freeman and company losing another game, especially a rivalry game like that, because that puts your job in jeopardy. You lose that game. So I thought Notre Dame would come out and play well, and obviously they did. Pat, we're going to wrap this thing up, man. Anything you want to say to the UPers out there before we wrap this up?
No, just, continue to tune in, continue to support the Purple, like you guys are. Just like we're going to bring content to you. Let's take it slow. We're not going to look forward. We can look at the Texans now because the 49ers game is over, but take one game at a time. Enjoy what's happening. This is fun. So I'm enjoying it. And I'm trying to stay as even keel as possible. But we are 2-0, and it feels good being 2-0. Like, it's not like we just went out and beat, the Carolina Panthers and the Giants. Like, we just beat the team who's favored to be in the Super Bowl in the NFC. Right? I don't care what you say. That looks good. And B-Flow defense looked really good. And Sam Darnold looking really good. And the running game looking good. And KOC looking good. Like, everything is looking good. So
everything is looking good, Pat.
Continue to enjoy it, everyone.
Yeah, I am going to, Scott just asked the question, and I think he's referring to the Minnesota-Iowa game. I think he wants you to make a pick, Pat. But listen, I'm going to say this. You've got to tune back in when Patrick does his picks. I'll ask Patrick to think about this game all week, and then he will have that as a part of his Patrick's pick. I won't put him on the hot seat tonight, because there's a lot of information we got to, there's a lot to go into.
Got to get a lot of
find out
things,
information,
right?
injuries.
You got me looking down right now, Scott.
Yeah. So we'll get that, we'll have that as a part of Patrick Picks on Friday when we post the Patrick Pick Show. So those of you that want some picks for the weekend, we'll go through that and do our thing. We were supposed to have Latrey on the broadcast tonight, all the way from Portland, Oregon. He couldn't make it. We will get him on in a future episode. I don't want to say he's going to be on next Sunday. I know we tentatively talked about it, that he'll be on next episode. He's itching to get on to converse with the UP, talk a little bit of Minnesota Vikings. He's a big-time Viking fan. But I will let you know when he is going to be on for sure. This has been Unconventional Playbook, Minnesota Vikings live post-game show. Thanks for all the people that joined the live chat tonight. We really appreciate it. Hit that like and subscribe button, and we will make sure to see you when we see you. Latrey, take us home, man.
Can I say I'm the man? Am I losing my mind? Am I wasting my time? Do I know who I am?